What's up, everybody? Another video, another day. It is, I think, Thursday. Worked all day on the buggy yesterday because we had someone cancel their appointment. So I was able just to jam on the thing all day. What I got done is I got the full rear suspension welded up. As far as trailing arm mounts on the frame and the axle side, got the upper links welded together. Didn't really show and pull my camera out because you guys have seen me make upper links before. It's just like the fronts, round tube, inserts, weld, plug weld, go on your way, and then everything else is just welding. So I was jamming out on it. One thing I did change was I made some pretty big frame plates that go around the trailing arm mounts on the frame side, and pretty much welded between the two plates. My trailing arm mounts on the frame side are that weird gauge, number's slipping my mind right now, just under 1/4 inch, between 3/16 and 1/4. Can't remember what it is. I want to say it's 8. That sounds right. And then the frame plates I made on the frame are made out of 3/16. So let me take some video here, show you what I did, and then we had to roll it out this morning because we had a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van we were doing an S&B tank on. So let me clear the lens. There we go. We had to do a fuel tank on it, and we need the big lift that I work out of. So we shoved some 2x8s in it. They're acting as my coilovers right now, but here you go. Everything fully welded up. Like I said, that got fully welded, all the plug welds done. Here's that 3/16 plate I made all around. And then in the gap between the two, there was a 1/4 inch gap. And I pretty much welded the frame, the link mounts, and the side plates all at the same time. Continued where we slid this down, made little triangles, also filled in the bottom so it's in all the way. Believe we showed you in the last video welding those things up fully. And then same story for the inside plates, gusseting everything up all the way down the frame on both sides. There you go. Then we made the upper links, like I said, too. They came out perfect. The nuts are maxed all the way towards the heim right now, which is about a 1/4 inch gap, which is perfect because when you run it all the way down, 2 to 3 threads. We did some flex tests as far as full compress and full droop. I'll drop those in right now. And then obviously the 2x8s are jammed in where the secondary shocks go because it's not 2 inches wide, it's 1.5 inches wide, just like a coilover, even though they call it a 2x8. So it fits down into the trailing arm, and then we just have them jammed up into the cage because all that stuff is fully welded anyways. So not hurting anything. But I guess what we're gonna do next is pull this dude back in. It looks like it's sitting super high right now because the rear's jacked up and then the front's not really on the ground. It sits about 4 inches lower. Let me do a little selfie action and show you how tall it is sitting right now, which is kind of ridiculous. Yeah, so roof's tall as I can reach. I'm 5'8"-ish, somewhere in there. So it's super tall right now. It looks kind of ridiculous in the parking lot. But that is it. Oh, I forgot to show you the lower mounts there. Got those fully welded in, made bottom plates for them. Drain hole in the bottom as per usual. So it's rocking. Coming along. Pinion actually worked out really great. It sits right now, well, not right now, at ride height, it sits somewhere around 6 to 8 degrees, the best I can tell with my little bubble level. And then at full droop, it goes up to 13, and at full stuff, it goes roughly 4 or 5. So it's perfect. We're really close at full droop of me just roughly measuring, because we have roughly about 25 inches of total wheel travel. At maxing out the double card-on U-joint, just going off a string and a angle gauge. So what we might do is, instead of doing 50 at 50, so like we'll call 12 up, 12 down, we might do like 10 down and 14 up. So we'll set this for 16 up, and then we'll start working on making the rear section of the ULTRA4 race truck here. What's up, everybody? It's now Monday. We got Trey to build us some tubes up for our fuel tank mount. I have already got a head and tacked, well, actually I have welded it in place. I've committed to it. It's gonna live there. So you can see the links really close to it, but they fit. That gives a little better view. There you go. So it will house our angle tank here. Kind of get what we're going for there. There you go. Just got done running the program I made real quick for the bottom of the mount slash the skid for the fuel tank that is required. One, for stuff coming up and hitting it, and two, if your drive shaft breaks. So I made it out of a nice 14 gauge. There you go. It will get welded in the middle of both tubes. Trey bent this out of 120 wall 1.5 inches. It is not a structural part, it's just an accessory, so it doesn't have to be out of the 1 3/4. It will come there and then get broken up to there. That'll give us a nice skid slash plate to have the fuel tank resting on. After everything is all powder coated and said and done, it will get a nice piece of foam on the bottom of the tank as well as on the edges to keep metal on metal contact down. So let's get that piece right there out of there on the bench, ground up, broken up to the right angle, which is 45 degrees, and then welded in place, and then we'll set the fuel tank in. All right, the skid slash bottom mount is tacked in place. Kind of get the idea. So got water drain holes in the corners and on the sides, just so it's there, but you get the idea. And then our full firewall will come up to here, minus the belt pass-throughs. We need 3 inches. If it's above the driver's shoulders, it needs to have 3 inches, but why not be more safe? It'll have a full firewall. It's roughly 8 inches up, and then the belt pass-throughs, and then it'll have a mesh right here because the radiator will sit there. But there you go. And then how I'm gonna lock it in is a piece of 90 is gonna get welded against this here. So the tank will kind of come in and lock in under that piece of 90 that will hit those corners, and that it'll also have a side on it so it can't shift left or right. And then this side right here, or the back side, will have a piece of 90 with sides on it. And then we'll make a little tab that comes off, and a bolt will just run straight down and pretty much cinch the tank down so it gets wedged and cinched. And then on the back side right here, it will eventually get foam as well as the full bottom and the sides to take up that little bit of gap, as well as foam right there. So the whole thing gets locked in place and won't go anywhere. And then we will also have, obviously, because having, I think this is a 22, 24 or something like that, can't remember, gallons of just hanging off of this. We're going to make a gusset that comes from there all the way up into here. That'll sit sideways with the tank as well. So that will help with the support. Yay. And fast forward a little bit later. There it is. Fuel tank mount. Now, of course, fuel tank will sit in here, and our coilover towers come up with, let me do a little different angle. They will come up and over. We'll have a stringer from there, be gusseted, and then we have a strut tower bar that comes across, and we will somehow come off this over to the towers. Somehow. Don't know yet. We will keep following forward here. All right, it's now Tuesday morning. Doing some quick stuff to the buggy real quick before me and Jill have to go on a little trip. But that'll be the next video. But here's what we have going on. So I have dropped it back down on the ground at right height here. And this piece of PVC right here is my coilover at mid-travel. My Radford coilovers aren't in yet, so we're using this. So quick cheat notes is fully extended, they're roughly 42.5, and fully collapsed, they're 26.5. They're 16-inch coilovers. So if you subtract 8 inches or add 8 inches, you get 34.5. Coincidentally, these tubes right here, we use for either the upper or lower links, but they are 34.5 tip to tip. So what I have is the bolt ran through, it just pushed on, and roughly the top of this is 34.5. I've got the coilover angled 5 degrees forward and 5 degrees in. And then what I've done is taking some TIG weld wire here, bent it around the cage, and have this guy just hovering. And then I've got another one here as a backup, just hovering. That's where the bolt should land for the top of the coilover. Now what we're gonna do is take this out of the way, take all the tape off of it, lift the axle back up, set it back on my stands for full stuff, and then we will take our short PVC pipe, wherever it is around here. I drilled holes in it. It's right there. This one we can actually bolt through, is our full compressed coilover. And what we are checking for is that preferably the coilover to trailing arm make a perfect 90 at full stuff. That's just what I've read. How important that actually is, I don't really know, but that's what we're gonna do now. So here we go. All right, so works out. So the hole there, roughly where those land at forward, and it is 5 degrees there, and we're close to 90 if you take the 5 and the 5. Obviously we can't do in because the PVC pipe doesn't want to bend in right now. but now we're good. All right, it's now Wednesday. Started the past like 10-15 minutes figuring this whole situation right here out. So I think that's gonna be it. This video be a little decent one. So let me show you what we have first. My stand comes up. Right here is the bolt hole for the coilover. So we'll make a mount that comes up. And I'm thinking about just making a long one that has multiple holes in it. So it's adjustable for not only this one, but the secondary shock whenever we decide to get one of those. And it comes down and it's grabbing the plate and it is getting notched into the two other tubes onto that plate. And then we'll full do the pack with a 1/4 inch plate, weld it all up, and then we will triangle gusset all 3 of those sides so that guy is solid. If you think about it, the coilover is wanting to push up, so it's wanting to pull that out, so that'll help that a ton. And then it'll obviously get the brace from here up, and then here over to here, and then we'll have a removable crossbar, and then we may run that one that comes from here over to here too. We'll see what it is, but that's it for this video. Like, subscribe, and share this. See you guys later. Bye.